Hi there, just thought I'd do a quick video this evening, just an update on the starter motor and a part that's arrived. The starter motor, the bush is on order. It comes as a kit. You get this bush and you also get the front bush that goes on this end of the armature. I don't think I need that, but I definitely need this one, so I've managed to get that bush, so that's on its way. And as you can see, the gear and spring and everything cleaned up nicely, and everything seems to be in good condition. So once I get the bush at the end of the week when I'm back, because I'm all going to be away for a couple of days, we'll get all this back together in etch primer and in the BMC green, have it all painted and ready to go. Part that's arrived, I don't know if you remember a while ago, I said about trying to get some exhaust manifolds, and I've been very lucky. I don't know why I put that rag over the top of it. We have an exhaust manifold. This is the rear one, and it's quite hard to get these, it seems, especially ones that aren't damaged in this area. Excuse the camera and ship there. This fortunately has all three studs still located, and they've not been drilled out or repaired by the looks of it. So there's something I can work with. I will try and get these out because they're looking like they're corroded a bit, and they may not take being tightened up, because obviously the weight of the exhaust system is going to be suspended on these bolts, so I'd rather they were right, but at least I've got something to work with so I can actually get those out. So I've got one side. This didn't come too far actually. I live in York, this came from Doncaster, so it didn't have to come too far. It has been shot blasted at some point. The only issue there, it seems to be, with all of these is there are bolts in here. I can't remember if they go across there or across there, that go through the inlet manifold, and every time I see these, those bolts are sheared and gone. I don't know if there was ever a case where there were no bolts on any particular manifolds, but all the ones I've seen seem to indicate there should be studs sticking out of this, or at least two of them. So I'll have to, if I can, I'll have to try and find those studs and try and drill them out, I guess, or extract them if possible. But it looks, it's like they're non-existent, but they are there, or they should be there. So we'll have to see how that goes. So that's arrived. That's good. I'm glad I've got that, because that's it's taken me months just to get that one. I've been looking for these for at least 6 months. So a set did come up a little while ago, and I was silly enough to let it go, but there was an issue with one of them. I can't remember if it was this side or the other side. This is the rear manifold, where someone had actually drilled this out completely, and they just put a bolt in, which I don't particularly like. And also, you start drilling these out, you don't have a lot of material left at the edge, and if anyone, if you happen to tighten up that bolt too much, it could actually break the corner off. And I've seen that on other manifolds that are for sale. You've got to watch this area, it's quite prone to damage. And it came with 2 new gaskets, which is quite good, so that's not a bad deal. I think I paid £55 for that. That's not bad for one of those, I don't think. You can get charged an awful lot more. So that's one. So I've got the rear one, I just need the front one now, so that's that. So that's a good thing that's arrived. Work up and coming to do is these are a set of HS6 inch and 3/4 SU carburetors. These actually came from a TR4, so these need complete. I've cleaned them. That's why they started to corrode a bit. I cleaned them a while ago, but they need rebuilding. I've got rebuild kits for them. The spindle bushes, I think, look pretty good, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of free play on the new spindles when you put them in, so that's good. I've been reading the SU tuning book and rebuild book, which is quite handy. I can't remember the publisher or the author, but it's a book that's been around for a long time. So I've got them to do. Now they may not be next, but that's something in the pipeline coming up to get them done. But what we also have, just push the manifold to the back of the bench a bit, is the choice of whether we replace the water pump, which this is, but we can't see that very well. Sorry about the cameramanship there. or do we rebuild it? Because one of these, they're not cheap, but they're not horrendously expensive. But I'll be interested to see if it could be rebuilt. But obviously it's going to depend on whether the cost of buying any tooling to do it is going to obviously outweigh the cost of buying another water pump. So I may have to have a look into that. You can get kits for them, seal kits, and I think there's probably also a bearing in there. I've never taken one apart, so... But it did leak when the engine was turning over, and it had coolant in it. It was pouring out. There's a hole, I think, in the bottom somewhere, and it was, yeah. So it's a case of whether we rebuild that or we get another one. I'm not gonna keep the fan. I don't. I'll be running a Kenlow. I don't see there's any much point having this on the front of the engine, really. It zaps power, and it's probably not the most efficient fan, I wouldn't have thought. And these days you can get good kits to convert your car to electric fans. It's something I would prefer to have. And also you haven't got this bloody great fan spinning around under the bonnet to hit your fingers with, if you're silly enough to put your fingers near it. And I don't particularly like the look of it. I don't like the look of the fan either. So that will be going. So yeah, there's that. So let's push that to one side, and the next project will be the distributor. Just pop that down there. So my plan will be just to strip it down, clean it, make sure there's not too much free play in the I think there's a bush in the end of this casing, just to make sure there's not too much free play. It's all nice and clean. I will run, for the test run of the engine, I'll probably be keeping points, because financially at the moment it's what I have, and it will do. But when I actually fit it to the car up, it will be exchanged for some kind of electronic system. It'll be possibly Lumination or something like that. But you can buy complete new distributors with all the system inside, but obviously I think they're a bit more expensive than the Lumination conversion. So that's one of the other jobs to do, is to get all this stripped down and rebuilt. So if I pop that back over there, and then just so you can see the condition of this is the rocker assembly and shaft and posts. Now you can, oh sorry about that, my phone cover's covering the phone camera. I don't know if I can get that in close enough, but you can probably see there how badly worn that foot is on the rocker there, if you call them a foot. I'm not sure if they're called a foot, but and you can see how bad that is. So you'd never ever get your tappet clearances right, because there's actually a cavity there, and your feeler gauges would just go either side on the high point. So yeah, it's not looking too good really. So what I'm going to do is AH spares, if I've got that right, do a complete assembly. You exchange it for this one, because what they're interested in is, I presume, things like the posts and everything. I don't know if these can be reconditioned or maybe remachined, I'm not sure, but they'll exchange the whole thing as long as I obviously give them this one to replace it with. But that's a little bit further down the track, because that's not a cheap item, so I'm going to have to save up for a bit for that one. So yeah, just a little bit of an update. So a bit of a quick one, because I'm going to be away the next few days. So there we are. Okay, see you later. Bye.